Inshallah, we will be starting the program for tonight shortly, inshallah. And as been advertised, we're going to be discussing the part two of how to build our community. The last time our Ustad Tawfiq, he came and he gave us some ideas on what it means to have a community and what this entails and what this entails and what this requires. And inshallah ta'ala, as promised during that session, that we're going to have a further discussion on the same topic, inshallah, giving more explanation and more details on how to do this, inshallah. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefits us from that which we're going to hear today. فليتفضل مشكورا يا أستاذنا.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين ونستهدي ونستغفر ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-Wahid al-Qahar, the only one God that is worthy of worship in truth, the one who had given us another opportunity to be able to dining at this time. It's a difficult time, 6 p.m. London time, 7 p.m. Nigerian time, for us to talk about something that I believe, and I'm sure that you would also believe, that it's an important thing for us to take away. For everyone who's on the call, whether we are many or we are little, I think what is important is for us to have the understanding that if we do not build something, then we cannot enjoy it. If we do not build a community, we cannot enjoy that community. The last time, Dr. Adetunji told us what is seen as what a Muslim community is. And then I explained some few, strategies personally that I believe is what our community is missing in terms of how do we actually build a Muslim community. And we do not have any consolation. We do not have any motivation apart from the word of Allah in Ali Imran 1:4, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Let there be a group among you, a group, ummatun yad'una ila al-khayr, that will call others to goodness. Yad'una ila al-khayr, they will call people to understanding goodness, to learning goodness, to teaching goodness. وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, and they would command them to do good things that are good. وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ, and they will forbid the people to do things that are good. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ, for surely this type of people, they are the successful one. This is our motivation. If anyone is looking for the motivation for what we do in terms of community work, Allah had described this work as the work of those type of people who wants to be successful. Successful in terms of wealth? No. Successful in terms of having houses and cars? No. Al-Muflihuna, they are the people who would inherit the Jannah. So the work that we are doing, whether you are part of it or you're not part of it, whether you are planning to be part of it or not, whether we are doing it full-time or we're doing it part-time, whether we have the strength to do it or we are tired all the time, our consolation and our motivation is there is a reward behind people who try not to be busy with their own stuff alone. People who think about, oh, how do we do for others? People who try to say, okay, what do we need to do to build up our community? And in the next, maybe the light Dr. Adetunji, I think it's going to be a short one to the video. because as you can see, the voice is gone. So, what did we discuss the last time? We discussed what are the strategies for us to build a community, but we went high level, strategic, analysis. We said we should identify talent. It was more talent focused the last session. Talent focus in our community, identifying those talents, grooming those talents, promoting those talents, and then taking benefit or making use, benefiting from those talents. Today is going to take a little bit of, a little bit of that direction to another level. And today, when we talk about building a community, we know we can't build a community except we are building a family. There is no one who can claim they can have a good community when the families are bad. And that is why Shaitan, the only thing Shaitan wants to attack and destroy is the true loving relationship between a man and a woman. Mhm. Between a man and a woman. The devil wants to attack the relationship between a man and a woman so it can destroy families, so we can not have communities. And that's why Ali Salatu Wasalam informed us that in a day when Shaitan wants to celebrate one of the shayateen, one of the small devils, he would look for the devil that has destroyed the relationship between husband and wife. In fact, he would celebrate that devil and he would crown that devil that, oh, you have done well. Why? What is the wisdom behind this? What is the wisdom behind the devil celebrating its own army?
Ustad, I think we've lost you a little bit, Ustad. Ustad, I think we've lost you. Can you? No, I think we have a little bit of technical issue. I'm sure Ustad is going to join shortly. I think the point that he was sort of on and was making was regarding the importance of the usra, the family, that unit, which is the unit of the family, which is the individual unit that makes up the community. And obviously, this is based in Al-Islam on is based on Islam on the husband and wife coming together. And Shaitan, as Ustad was mentioning, is not does not want this union or this unity to persist and continue. And that's the reason why when 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 the shayateen, they come and they destroy a family, he's happy with this, which is the unit breaking apart the unit of the community. And if the unit of the community is broken, then there's not going to be any community. And that's why that's why the actual the marriage is from the Sunnah of Prophet, and also that's why there's a lot of emphasis in the religion of Islam about the marriage and the family and all of that. Hopefully, inshallah, Al-Ustadh should be with us shortly. We're just trying to get him reconnected again. Just bear with us. Assalamu alaikum. We're still trying to get Ustad back, inshallah. And as soon as we get him back, we will restart the program, inshallah. Nam, I think Ustad is back with us. Can see that Ustad is back with us, I think. Nam, so inshallah we're going to restart very shortly. Allow me to unmute. Okay, طيب Ustad is back with us. Barakallah feek. Can we give yeah, Barakallah feek.
Assalamu alaikum. I think is internet. Sorry, I'm in Nigeria and the internet is a little bit not stable. So, Bismillah wa sallallahu wa sallim ala Rasulillah. I hope that inshallah ta'ala we will be able to create a bit of benefit here. The focus of today, as we said last week, we were talking about talent. We were building talent. Today is about the family. And the reason, Dr. Adetunji, can you hear me okay?
Yes, well, clear, Ustad.
Okay. Now, the focus of today is families. And the reason is feedback from the last session, questions that people ask. After the call, I received many WhatsApp messages and calls, and we had some conversation behind the scene. And I said, I think it's better all this explanation to bring it back to the audience who attended the last one. When we want to build a community, we build the family. So there are two elements of that family that we need to build a community. Of course, we have a community. The problem we have within our community is that the Muslim community are lacking a lot of things. The key one that is very relevant to us in our community is how we raise our children, the tarbiyatul awlad, how we are raising our children. How are you, the father who is listening right now, or the mother who is listening right now? What is your consciousness about raising a Muslim child? Because it is the totality of the Muslim children that forms a Muslim community of tomorrow. How are you raising your children? And that brings me back to the Islamic education that the Muslims family in the West are giving to their children. Subhanallah, there are many of our children that at the moment, wallahi, they are not even learning anything about Islam. All we are giving them is for them to go to school. We're not saying they shouldn't go to school, don't get me wrong. We all went to school. But building a solid Muslim community cannot be an effective community without a proper Islamic education. And that Islamic education is the one that we want to look at today. The Islamic education that we need to build is the one that we need to look at today. How do we go about building an Islamic community when our children cannot even recite the Quran? They don't even know what that Quran means. They cannot even, they've been going to all these madrasat in the UK or in America or wherever we are, but they don't even know what it means. There is no culture of building children that understand the Quran, let alone even memorize that Quran. And this is the contention. This is the call of today. The call of today is about how much of Quran do people know within your family? Well, of course, they're very good with A levels, GCS, university work, which is fine. But how much of Quran do they know? What can they recite from the Quran? What do they understand from Quran? The way that some moms do not understand this today is the same culture that we are passing to our children as well. I mean, if I do not memorize Quran, I think it should work harder for my children to be able to memorize Quran. Yes. To learn the Quran, to recite the Quran. So, my brothers and sisters who are watching today is building the Muslim community by returning to the book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet. Yeah, last time we talked about talent. We talked about how can you build talent. That is easier. To build talent within the community, honestly, that is easier. And the reason why that is easier is because whether we like it or we don't like it, we are building that talent. We are training every day. We have groups, even on the Muslim platform. We have groups that are training into IT. We have groups that are training into business analysis, into project management, so we are building talent already. We have professionals on this platform. We have doctors, scientists, IT guys, nurses. We have everybody within this community. I think what is lacking is the pristine understanding of the deen of Islam, the connection with the. Just let me give you an example. I'm in Nigeria right now, and we have in what we call the Dean House. In the Dean House, we've been struggling. The Dean House in the UK, we've been struggling for a while. Well, alhamdulillah, we have a center in Nigeria where those kids started not too long ago. And then I had the opportunity to interact with them and the teachers who are teaching them. And I saw how much they've been able to do. And I listened to their recitation and I was like, actually, we are losing this. We're not getting this in the UK. When our children between the age of 4, 5 to 10 cannot recite the Quran properly, when they are struggling because they're only doing Saturdays and Sunday classes, when they are struggling to know what the book of Allah is, if they cannot recite it, how will they even be able to memorize it, let alone understand the meaning of the Quran? So, bi'idhnillahi rahman, today building the community is about making sure we establish the institution of Quran in our house. Getting that hall today and taking it away. It's not all going to be about making money. I know we're all like professionals. Everyone is migrated to the UK or the US for economic or financial reasons. Fine. That we are doing already. And as you know, I must not the campaign on that because we are closer. So don't say, oh, Tawfiq Absalam is beating that down. No, not beating that down because we're already doing that. We're already making money in business, whatever. We're already doing that. What we are not doing properly is that we are not raising our children, or we are not establishing the accurate, the effective Quranic knowledge of studies within our homes. And that is why, Dr. Adetunji, I'm going to call you in a bit and interview a story. I'm going to put you on the spot, so get ready. Now, the point is, how do parents help their children to be able to, get to this habit of when the Quran disturbs you? When you are raising your children and they are reading Quran, and their recitation of the Quran is not to a level where that child feels not at ease when they are not reading their Quran. If that's where they are, that means you have not instilled that knowledge of Quran into them until they start waking up in the middle of the night, reading the Quran, memorizing the Quran, asking for the meaning of what that Quran entails. Then we are not doing it properly. So building our community, bi'idhnillahi rahman. I want everybody on the call, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, to take this call away and campaign this call within your homes and say, okay, how do we go about teaching Quran in our homes? What do we need to set up? What do we need to do to set up the institution of Quran within our homes? Because if you can take it that way, maybe Allah will reward us for this section. Maybe someone else will watch this section. Okay, I need to go establish Quran in my homes. That is number 1. Number 2 is, what is the plan? We always talk about the bigger picture, the bigger plan. What is the plan for our community in the next 3 or the next 2, 3, 4, 5 to 6, 7, 10 years to what we are talking about now? How many words of the Quran are we going to raise? People who have memorized the Quran, people who understand what the Quran is talking about, children who in the next 5 years can come and lead us in prayer without us importing reciters from Cairo and Saudi. And yet, your children, the Alhaji is watching, your children to be the leaders of our salawat and our tarawih in Ramadan, we are building different mosques. We're building the Oken Road Mosque. For those of you who don't know, the Oken Road Mosque is a mosque where a lot of people have gained benefit. If you have not put your money in there, please go and put your money there. If you have not put your money into the Oken Road, go and put your money there. If you have not put your money into many other masajid that we are building, go and put your money in there. So that tomorrow, and plan that what we are campaigning for today, that we want our children to learn the Quran. Make the word that your children will learn the Quran, will memorize the Quran, and be imams in those masajid that we are all building. So we do not need to go and rent reciters of Quran. If that is the call, if that is the plan for this call, we might as well end it now if everybody gets what I'm trying to say. If everybody understands this campaign, we might stop here. So what is the campaign today? The campaign today is we want to build a Quran or a Quranic Muslim community where we have the culture of Quran, culture of recitation of Quran, culture of learning the Quran, culture of memorizing the Quran, culture of the tafsir of the Quran, so that in the next 3 to 5 years, we will say, Inshallah, Alhamdulillah, we have been able to raise our children to holding on to the Quran. The question people would ask is, oh, our children are already grown ups. They're already in the university. Some of them are already working. How can they do this? Oh, yes, they can. Don't forget, the majority of people who even embrace Islam, when the Prophet Islam started his prophethood, they were in their 40s, many of them, and they learned and memorized the Quran. Of course, today we have the excuses of, oh, we are busy working, oh, we are busy tired. It is only because we've not started. Because we have not started. If we start, be it the life Rahman, Allah will give us tawfiq and it will happen. And let me give you a practical example. Dr. Detunji, get ready. I'm going to call you. Let me give you an example. In the families where they are reciting Quran, the dad and the mom, they engage in doing muraja with their children. What do you think will happen to those type of dads and moms? They will also trigger their knowledge of Quran that they've abandoned for so long time. And then what will happen in that house? Everybody in the house will be people of Quran. If you do that in your home, I do that in my home. Brother Lagbaja, Alaji Tamil, Alaja Tamil does that in their homes within our community following this campaign. What do you think will happen in 35 years' time? We will have a lot of our children with Quran on there. And there is no way a child will memorize Quran except that at least, even if they don't understand what they memorize, at least that Quran will show in their lives. Their personality will be different. The memorization of the Quran would have sharpened their brain. They will excel in other areas of knowledge, whether you accept it or you do not accept it, whether you understand it or you do not understand it. So, inshallah, I'll put it practical. Dr. Adetunji Barakallahu, what do you think and how do you think this campaign can help the Muslims? And I'm putting you on the spot. What do you think a elderly mom needs to do to help their children? And I don't care whether that approach is very wrong or is very unpopular. What do you think a dad and a mom can do to establish the teaching and learning of the Quran in their homes?
Nice. Barakallahu fiki, Ustad. Wallahi is it's the topic of the Quran is a very sort of important one, a very, very important one in the life of the Muslim. In the life of the Muslim, because subhanallah, the Quran was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ so that so that it can be a benefit for us, so that it can be a way of life for us. So the way a person or the parents take the Quran, that's the same way the children is going to take the Quran. And there are a number of practical sort of thing that a person can do to this. First of all, is whatever we're asking or whatever we're requesting from our children to do, then they have to see us doing it ourselves. This is something that is from tajarrub, from practicing it. you cannot say to your kids to go and memorize the Quran or read the Quran and they don't see you doing it. It's not going to work. Rarely does it work. Rarely, very rarely does it work. If you want to, even if you feel that, oh, I've now sort of grown in age and I haven't, but the effort that you put into your Quran, they will see that, and then they'll want to do the same thing. That's the first thing that is very, very important. So when Ustaz mentions that let the family be a family of Quran, truly indeed, both the children and the adults. If the kids are going to Saturday school, you find a class as well that you're going to and you're learning how to read the Quran. Because it's aib, it's shameful upon us that at we are sort of we have masters and PhD in secular knowledge, which there's no problem with this. But when it comes to the Quran, we don't know how to read Surah Al-Fatiha properly, recited Surah Al-Fatiha properly, and we also want sort of the kids to be able to do this. So very, very important is the first thing is that both the mother and the father or the parents needs to take the Quran into themselves and into their lives, and then the children sees that, and then they continue with this. If the kids are registered in Marrakech, Saturday schools, Sunday schools, or whatever, then a person should find something as well. Alhamdulillah, there's no excuse these days. There are no excuses these days for anyone not to be learning the Quran, because there are both physical places that you can go to and online places that you can go to learn, and so on and so forth. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you must have a halaqa in your house within yourself and the kids that are reading something. You don't need to be an alim. You don't need to be anything. Just pick up the book, one of the books that are mu'tamad, one of the books that are sort of recommended books of the religion, and read. Read in English. And whatever you don't know, call Ustaz Tawfiq and ask. If he doesn't know, he'll find someone that knows the answer. This is very, very important for us to establish in the family. So where making the Quran very, very important in both the parents' lives, and therefore the kids' life. And second of all, having a sitting once a month or once a week or something, whereby you're reading a book, Riyadh al-Salihin, the explanation of the 40 hadith, and so on and so forth, or even the tafsir, start from Surah Al-Fatiha, pick up the Ibn Kathir's tafsir, or the tafsir of As-Sa'di, which has also been translated into English. Read it. If there's anything you don't understand, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Naam. So just a few things.
Barakallah fikum, Dr. Detsuji. See, Dr. Detsuji just told us exactly. Can you hear me? I think my internet is still not strong.
No, we can hear you, sir. We can hear you. We
You
can hear
can
you.
hear me. So, learning the Quran with the children, it has to be. I'm not sure whether. Let me check this internet again. Right.
No,
Learning the Quran with the kids is just the basic. Of course, the problem is, oh, we're busy. We leave the house in the morning, come back in the evening. I think we just need to put our minds in there. And I think I prefer offering the solution to say, when the parents do the moroja with their children, when your children are learning the Quran, and you sit with them and do moroja with them, they learn faster and better with you. Learn faster and better. So let's take this away and say to someone else, let's go practical. Somebody on this call is texting and saying, oh, how do I even get a Quran teacher? Let's start from there. How do you get a Quran teacher? If you know you don't have any Quran teacher in your homes, please message me 5 p.m. on any Friday. In fact, this coming Friday, I will make sure we prioritize this call on Quran this coming Friday. This coming Friday from 5 p.m., message me, message my WhatsApp, message the Tawfiq Absalam Instagram, and inshallah, we'll respond to that. Let's agree that inshallah, we are going to help you get a teacher of Quran. We would help you with that. We would also help you set up the Quran knowledge within your homes for yourself, your wife, and your children. We will also help you connect with other families whose children are already memorizing or have completed the memorization of the Quran. And we will also help you relate with them. Maybe, for example, we'll set up family A to visit family B, who the children have already completed with the Quran. Family B to visit another family that are just starting, so that we can exchange ideas. Why are we saying all this? We're saying this because today campaign, may Allah reward the people behind the scene, all of you brothers putting the Muslim platform together. The today campaign is we want you to return home by thinking about we want to build a Quranic Muslim community, a Muslim community where our children in 3 years' time, in 4 years' time, in 5 years' time, the meaning of that is we're not saying that you start now and you know the Quran in 3 months or you in 2 months. Whatever you can learn between now and then, that is the encouragement. And then in a year time and in 2 years' time, we want to make sure that this campaign, we are going to continue with this campaign. And there's a possibility, inshallah, that we are going to launch a madrasa immediately after, where people will be able to learn the Quran. People will be able to go and learn physically or online somewhere, inshallah. We are working on that. Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq and make this easy for us. So, brothers and sisters who are on the call, again, building a Muslim community has to be fundamentally, in terms of its basis, upon the Quran, upon the understanding of the Quran, upon the understanding of the student, upon the understanding of the true meaning of the Quran. And then the last part, when we're talking about talent, in fact, talent can emanate from your children knowing how to recite the Quran. Subhanallah. Wallah. You can see children, memorizing Quran at age 9 and 10, and they have expertise, technical ability to even recite 2 or 3 or 4 riwayat, different riwayat. That riwayat is how you recite the Quran in a different way, with different, changing some tonation of some huruf in the Quran, and they are still valid. See, these are the way to build the consciousness of your children, even of yourself, to understanding that you need to learn the Quran. Dr. Adetunji also mentioned that it is one thing for us to tell our children, our family to memorize Quran. It's another thing for us to be seen doing it with them, together with them. And I think a lot of us are really, really missing out on that because of our professional life. Because of our professional life, we are missing out. A lot of us had actually missed out a long time on this because we've been busy firefighting. Where do we get this from? But now is the time to come back to the Quran. Is the time to come back to learning with the family, so that inshallah we can see these changes growing up within our community. If you are a family who are already doing Quran, you already learned, your kids are already learning, please make sure you message me so we can connect you with another family, wherever you live, as long as we are connecting online. And if you are the one that lives in London or you live in Kent, inshallah, I think that will be easier when we are looking for brothers who lives outside London. We can reconnect one brother in Leicester with another brother in Leicester, or brother in Sheffield to another brother in Sheffield. Wherever you are, just make contact, speak out, interact. The reason why we are saying this is this country that we are, this United Kingdom that we all live, by systematic default, in the default, is being created to be a place where people live isolated life. Somebody, brother in Sheffield, he's been there for 5, 10 years. He doesn't even know another brother, maybe on the opposite side of where he lives. Because he has his job, he's busy, he has food and chicken and chips inside his fridge and freezer. He doesn't need anything from him. So he just lives by himself every day, only him. Only him, And this is not the way the Muslims want to live. Of course, in Nigeria right now, the culture in Nigeria is completely different. But unfortunately, I'm returning to the in a few days. We're also going to come and join that culture where everyone is living isolated life. This isolated life is what we're trying to break. We want to break it. Don't live by isolation. Call a brother, call a sister, make visits to families. You need to make effort to make all these things happen. If you don't do, you will grow in the culture, in the attitude of being isolated. Unconsciously, you'll be like that. Then you'll say, what you doing? It's not about what you doing. It is just the nature of the environment where we live. So cultivate the habit of connecting with other brothers, even if it is just giving them salam. All the brother give salam, go pay them visit, ask about the kids so that everyone can co-learn together. Why are we saying this? We are saying this because we know this is lacking within this community. A big time is lacking. We ask him to give us the good understanding of this, and to help us to turn to build a community where we have a lot of people who would write and who would learn the Quran, who would walk by it. Now, Dr. Adetunji, before we go, in Ramadan, we're going to have, before that time, we mentioned about the classes, learning books with our children. I think a good opportunity is for families to tune in into the classes we have on the Muslim platform. We have Usul Sunnah. Is it Usul Sunnah that Abu Hanifa does?
Alhamdulillah, subhanallah, we've completed books, Ustaz.
Usul Sunnah.
Naam,
So
we've
we're doing
completed
Umdatul Ahkam and
Arba'in al-Nawawiyah.
Arba'in al-Nawawiyah. So if families can dial into Arba'in al-Nawawiyah by Abu Hanifa and
Naam.
Umdatul Ahkam by Sheikh al-Imam, and dad and mom sit together. Because somebody might be saying, Dr. Adetunji said we should be learning a book. Me, I don't know a book now. Like I have a text now. He doesn't know the book, but you don't know the book. But there's a class, there's 2 classes on the Muslim platform every Saturday. Arba'in Nawawiyah by Ustaz Abu Hanifa, may Allah preserve him. Dialing into that with your kids. Join in, buy the book, and make sure you do the books. And doing the books and following the books is very important. Do the same with Umdatul Ahkam with Sheikh al-Imam. And may Allah Ta'ala give us a good understanding. Before we go, Dr. Adetunji, what are the programs we have in plan for Ramadan? Do we have some plans for Ramadan for our programs?
Naam. So, inshallah, Rahman, we have obviously next week we have our normal program coming up, which is Sheikh Al Imam going through Umdatul Ahkam, and then the week after that is Sheikh Abu Hanifa. And in terms of Ramadan, we are planning for a combination of sort of reminders and lectures and tafsir. Inshallah, with sort of various du'at, various mashayikh that we've had previously coming to talk to us about different aspects of Ramadan and how to boost our iman during Ramadan, how to increase this, and that's why, subhanallah, this talk that you've given today, Ustaz, regarding Quran is very, very important, because we've entered Rajab now, and Rajab, Sha'ban, Ramadan. So if we want to be people of the Quran during Ramadan, then we need to start now. We need to start. If you're only reading half a juz, and you want by on a daily basis, and by Ramadan you want to be reading a juz, increase by 2 pages now. By the time it's Ramadan, you're going to be able to be reading a juz a day, and so on and so forth. So we're going to have sort of tafsir of the Quran. We're going to have sort of lectures on Iman and the fiqh of Ramadan, and so on and so forth. So the program is in place, and we're working on it. And soon enough, inshallah, the very details of which will be shared with everyone.
Inshallah. Allah reward you. On the call, do we have anyone who have any questions before we run down? Inshallah. I think the campaign is clear. I think the message is clear. Do we have anybody who there are questions on your mind about how do we build a community of Quran? How do you want to go about it? Is there anyone with questions before we go? Inshallah? Okay. I think we're going to draw the curtain here, Dr. Adetunji, inshallah. And may Allah Ta'ala reward everyone for dialing. We will make sure that before the Ramadan program starts, we will do the preparation. I think there's a lecture on how do we prepare for Ramadan in the way the Muslim, the companions of the Prophet did it. I think there's a lecture on that. How did the Salaf, how did they do the preparation for Ramadan? What are the things you need to do for Ramadan? I think we need to do that lecture. Dr. Adetunji, I'm sure that we have that planned already. I'll report you and the education team and the rest of the brothers who are putting all this effort together. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this D2 from us. Yes, every Saturday. So this This program that we're doing right now is every Saturday. Every Saturday, I think it's the same link that you have on the poster that you join in, or the link that you're joining now is the same link. Next Saturday, I think it's going to be one of the core classes. We have two core classes. We have
Now,
the Arba'in and Nabawiya class, where you learn about different sunnah and the science of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Umdatul Ahkam. And the two shuyukh, the two people who are teaching these classes, they are not people that, when they are teaching, people should not attend. I think there are people that you need to listen to them. I know when you hear some names, Tawfiq Salam, Yudali, but these people are our own teachers. They are people of Sunnah. They teach the correct Islam the way it should be. And most of the time, the lectures are between, I think, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. UK time. It is only because of today, I'm far away in Nigeria, and, get busy. That's why we put this at 6 p.m. Most of the time, it's between 5 and 6, most of the time. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for all of us to dial in. For those of you who are trying to teach books in your home, if you don't know anything to teach your children, just dial into that one on Saturday. Buy the books, buy the translated one. Make sure all your families are gathered around them. Learn. If you do that for 6 months, 12 months, you become an afar. You'll be able to explain Islam to people. You would reduce in your questioning that you are asking all the time. You will at least learn something on the go. Even if you're in the car, put it on loud. You are doing it, put it on loud. Make the timetable for that time when you are on. Make it a compulsory class for your family once a week on a Saturday. And we hope that people will be able to take this opportunity, because it's a big opportunity in the environment where we are, where the venue where you learn the real authentic Islam is not so many. Within our Muslim community, even the Nigerian Muslim community, where you learn the authentic text, it's not so many. It's not so many. So we are more bigger on our cultural Islam than the real, fundamentals. We have guide us and increase our guidance. So, Dr. Detundi, inshallah, please let's round up here if possible, and then inshallah ta'ala catch up soon later, inshallah. Over to yourself.
Naam, Jazakallah khair, Ustaz. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for what you've put forward for us today. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala benefits us from that which we have heard. Inshallah ta'ala, the brothers asked here regarding the times of the classes is normally on Saturdays in the evening. But every week we have posters going out to say the exact time of each program, inshallah. So if you're not already on any of those sort of WhatsApp group, please find a way of joining, inshallah ta'ala. Both brothers and sisters have the WhatsApp group, which information are shared and disseminated through. If not, then contact us directly, either Brother Tawfiq or directly to myself, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakumullah khair.